Hello and welcome to another episode of How To with Paul Henderson. Today's video is going to be my 30-day sober video. Today is October 24th, 2023, and I have been sober and seizure-free for the past 30 days. I did film a 10-day sober video 20 days ago. You can go ahead and check that out. It's on my YouTube channel, How To with Paul Henderson. This video is my 30-day one, so let's get on with it. So, when did I have my first drink? I guess I would have to say when I was maybe 7 years old, maybe 6. We had some relatives come down from New Jersey. They stayed with us for a little while. And my first drink was Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill Wine. And it did taste pretty good. And then from then until 15, I would have maybe a quarter of a glass of beer every now and then. If I went to the bar with my dad, he would sneak me a little bit when no one was looking. Usually just a couple sips here and there. So that's probably where I got the taste of alcohol from. And then I didn't really start drinking again until I was maybe 15 and a half when I got my first job. There were some people at my work where I worked. They would have a couple parties a year. I would get invited. And of course there was alcohol. Alcohol was there. And even though I was underage, they'd let me have one or two, and that would be about it, maybe 3 tops. I did get drunk on quite a few of those parties over those 2.5 years while I was working there. And I'll tell you this, those hangovers really sucked. I mean, they were really bad. I remember one time I came home and my mom knew I was drunk. I woke up the next day and it was a really bad headache. She goes, "See, that's what drinking does to you. You gonna drink anymore?" And I said, "No, never gonna drink again." That didn't last very long. So then probably, I think, so from like 15 and a half until 20, I just drank, just occasionally if I went out with friends. Well, if I went to their house. I mean, I couldn't go out and drink because I was underage. So that made it kind of hard to start drinking at bars then. But anyway, so, between, 15 to 20, just, a couple times a year maybe. And I do remember this one time that my sister, we had some friends a couple streets over from where he lived. They were having a party. My sister wanted to see how fun it would be to get me super, super, super drunk. And I don't know, I guess thinking about it now, that was probably, as a kid, that was probably the worst hangover that I'd ever had. I think that was the one where my mom said, "See, you ever going to drink again?" And I said no. But I didn't listen. So then from, from like, so 20 to like, I was 40, so I guess that'd be 20 years. I was old enough to get into bars. Well, at 20 I wasn't, but I was able to sneak into bars because back then they didn't really check IDs. If you dressed up and showed them your ID and it was too dark out, they would just let you go in. So the one thing I would say is I was pretty smart because I had my license then, that when I drove to these places to drink, I would drink 1 to 2 beers, maybe 3 max. I wouldn't get drunk, but I would get pretty buzzed, which nowadays is considered, buzz driving is considered drunk driving, so I was pretty lucky that nothing ever happened. And anyone that is thinking about drinking and driving, don't do it. It's not worth it. And you'll regret it for the rest of your life if you end up taking somebody's life because you decided to get behind the wheel. Especially nowadays when you have Uber is so widely available. Just Uber vehicle, they pick you up, they take you home, and then you can either have someone take you back to your vehicle the next morning to pick it up or just Uber back and get it. I mean, I've done that a few times when I've gone out and I've gotten a little drunker than I thought I was, which I didn't know why, because normally, even now, well, not now because I'm 30 days sober, before I ended up quitting drinking a month ago, if I went anywhere outside of the house to drink, it was 2 beers on a motorcycle, 3 beers on the truck, and they were just the 12-ounce glasses of beer. And like I said, 3 beers max on the truck, and that's it. And normally when I would drink, I would have water in between each of the beers. And I think and I am pretty sure that is why my liver is perfect. My liver function test from my last stint at the hospital came back perfect. So that was really good to hear, because I was kind of worried about that. So let's see. So from 40 until, let me see. I wrote down some stuff here to try to keep track and not get too sidetracked. So anyway, so that's how it was for like 20 years. And then in 2004, my family ended up moving to Riverside. And lucky for me, well, maybe not lucky, maybe it was unlucky, I had an next door neighbor that was a wineaholic, and then I had 4 male neighbors that were full-blown alcoholics. So I was on, for 3 months. Dang it. Strike. When your work goes out on strike, I was out for 3 months. So I pretty much drank every single day for those 3 months. And then after those 3 months, I went back to work. Actually, no, it was longer. It was 6 months we were out for. So I did that for 6 months. So I drank pretty much every day. That was when I noticed that I had a beer intolerance, but I didn't know it back then. I didn't know what it was. I was having hives on one side. I was having hallucinations when I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would see spiders crawling on the ceiling, bugs up the wall. One time I woke up and I swore there was ants in my bed. I tore that whole bed apart, didn't see one single ant. That wouldn't happen all the time. It would just happen occasionally. And knowing what I know now, I realized that I would have those on the days that I couldn't drink. And no, before you ask, I wasn't doing any drugs. I did do drugs when I was younger. I did cocaine maybe 2 dozen times, pot 2 dozen times. I did freebase once. I'm not proud of that, but I can say that I don't have addiction, at least to cocaine and pot, and that I never took pills. The only pills I take now is I have 5 pills I take every day. I take 5 in the morning and 3 at night. So, see, I already got sidetracked. So anyway, so 2004, we moved to Riverside. My sister got married in 2005. And after she got married, a bunch of us and my sister, new husband, they had a pre-honeymoon, so they stayed the night at Morongo Casino. Me and a friend drove out there, and we stayed in the room together. And my intentions were, well, actually, you don't want to know what my intentions were that night. It got all screwed up. We went to my sister's room, well, my sister and her husband's room, and I did 6 shots of Wabo Cabo or Cabo Wabo. I don't know how you say it. It's some sort of tequila. It went down pretty damn smooth. So I did 6 shots of those, and I know I drank at least a 6-pack of beer. By 2 in the morning, I was drunk off my ass, falling down drunk, and I have never been like that in my entire life. The weird thing was, it was a good thing that we went to go eat right after that, because I had steak and eggs and I ate. I don't recall puking my brains out the next morning, but I did wake up on top of the bed in my underwear. So I guess I didn't. My intentions for that night never materialized. So, dang it. And she was hot. Well, anyway, woke up the next morning, had breakfast. The headache wasn't too bad, but the hangover was really, really bad. I couldn't drive my vehicle home, so I let her drive it home, and for me to let someone else drive my home, it had to be pretty bad. The whole entire way home, my car was going in circles. It was horrible. But like I said, I didn't have a headache, but it was the worst hangover I'd ever had. I think just because of the room was spinning nonstop. So that was in 2005, and then so from like 40 up until what was it, for the next I don't know, 2011. So I guess that would be for like another 6 years. I started going on ski trips, vacations, camping trips, and I would drink pretty heavy anytime that I went on those vacations. And in 2011 was when I believe I had the stroke, because my entire left side went completely numb from the left side of my scalp, from the left side of my scalp all the way down to my foot. I mean, it was down my face, the left side of my face, the left side of my nose, the left side of my mouth, my tongue. I know it's going to sound kind of strange, but even my left testicle and the left side of my penis was numb. I know. I told the doctor that, and they looked at me like, never heard that before. But they asked me. So anyway, I didn't go to the doctor until 4 days after that happened. That lasted maybe 20 minutes, and then I didn't feel good for the rest of the day. I did go to the doctors 4 days later. They ran some tests. They couldn't tell if I had a stroke or a seizure. And then they said, next time that ever happens, you come right in. So I did not listen. I had a few more little episodes, at least once a year, for the next 6 years. And that would be, hang on a second, let me take this off. Okay, so 2011. Okay, so that was when it all started. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot the most important part. So in 2011, I had went to Reno for a ski trip, and we went to Reno first, then we were going to drive to Tahoe the next day. So when I got to Reno, I was drinking, I wouldn't say nonstop, but I was drinking pretty consistently. And we didn't get to Reno until maybe 3 or 4 o'clock, so I couldn't drink that many beers between 3 or 4 until midnight. And I don't even think it was midnight when I stopped. I tried to think back at how many beers I might have had. I might have had like 6 beers, and 6 beers at that time is not bad. And like I said, I usually always drink water in between each beer. I did get pretty drunk, and here's another moment I'm not proud of. We'll say a woman of the night sat down next to me, and she was gorgeous. And I was pretty drunk. So we went back to the room, did my thing, couldn't finish, gave up. I paid her, sent her on her way. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't even mention this, but it's just, hey, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'll tell you everything. So anyway, she left, took a shower, went to bed, woke up, and my left eye was really blurry the next day. So I met my buddy in the morning. We had breakfast. I told him what had happened. Told him I met this really hot-looking woman. And he laughed, and he goes, Paul, he goes, I got to tell you something. And I go, what? He goes, you had your beer goggles on that night. He goes, you were plastered. And I told him, I go, I don't get it. I go, I had 6 beers. I drank water in between. I go, I know. I go, I don't understand why I was that drunk. I shouldn't have been. But he goes, I got to tell you something, though. He goes, she was not as hot as you think. I go, why? What does she look like? He said that she looked like an ex-meth head, and she was missing some teeth. And I go, damn. I go, in my mind, she was hot. And I go, dang it. So anyway, I was worried for the next 6 months. I had some blood tests done. Everything came back negative. So luckily, I didn't catch anything. So we end up packing everything up, hopping in my car. We drive back to Tahoe, because Reno was past Tahoe. So we go back to Tahoe. I was having a hard time seeing the whole time. We were there for 4 days. I drank every single day. I couldn't see at all. Well, I could see, but everything was just blurry. It was, and same thing on the way home. I was still having visual problems. So I get home, unpack everything. We get back at maybe about 5 p.m. Pack everything, take a shower. I go to bed. Wake up the next day, I have an extremely bad headache, and my eyesight is still messed up. So I decide to drive to Tahoe. No, decide to drive to CVS, get some medicine, and that was when I had that stroke/seizure. And then, of course, 4 days later, I go to the hospital, and they couldn't find anything. So I swore that was going to be the last time I ever got drunk. And to be perfectly honest, that was the last time that I got drunk. After that, I would just get a nice little beer buzz going on. So from 2011 until, let's see, at least, I don't know, for 6 years after. So I would go on my cruises and camping trips, ski trips, and I would drink the same amount. But it seemed like at least once a year for those 6 years after 2011, I would have one of those episodes. But then for the following 6 years, they would just increase in frequency and in intensity. I guess that's the right word. And then the last 3 years, they got really bad. And the last year, they got really bad where I was having at least 1 to 3 a week, usually at least 2 and sometimes 3. And it wasn't good. Like I said, I went to the hospital a year ago. That's when they found out that the stroke originated in the right side of my brain, and that's why it was affecting the left side of my body. So when I wound up in the hospital a month ago, Kaiser ran the same test that Riverside Community Hospital did a year ago, and they found the same spot, but they can't tell if it was an older stroke or a more recent stroke. So they said it was probably an older one, but I definitely was having seizures from alcohol withdrawals. They asked me how many beers I drank. I told them I was drinking at least 1 a day, sometimes 2. And then if it was really nice out of my day off, I would drink 3 or 4. If I had 3 days off in a row, then I would drink like 3 or 4 a day for those 3 days. And he asked me when would I have these episodes. And I told him it was usually always when I went back to work. And then I also told him about when I went to Vegas, I think a few weeks before I wound up in the hospital a month ago. I told him I was on vacation. I started on a Friday. I drank on Friday, went to my high school reunion on Saturday. I drank. I went home on Sunday. I drank some more beers on Sunday. But on Sunday, I had one of those episodes. Monday, I drank. Tuesday, I couldn't drink because I was on my way to Vegas, and I had another episode. And the whole time that I was in Vegas, I didn't feel good, and I drank the whole entire time that I was in Vegas for those 4 days. And then I had one on the way home, probably because I couldn't drink driving on the way home, which was the smart thing to do. So I come home, I drink some beers, and then I have another one, I think a few days after that. So I told him all this, and he goes, "You are having alcohol withdrawals, and that's why you're having them on the days that you go back to work. And when you don't drink, that's what's happening." So they said that I have to stop drinking now. And if I do, the seizures will reduce in frequency, but maybe not go away altogether. But if I continue to drink, they will get worse, and they will, let's say, what would they say? They'll increase in frequency and get worse. And then if I choose to stop drinking years down the road, they may not go away at all. I still may continue to have them. So I told them, no, I'll quit now. They offered me help. I said, nah, I can quit on my own. I don't drink that much. But knowing what I know now and thinking back, I still can't say that I can be considered an alcoholic. I would say an abuser or a chronic drinker. But I never intentionally drank to get drunk. Sometimes it would just happen. But like I said, thinking back to those hangovers that I had, they weren't justifiable for the amount of beer that I was drinking. So I think I've always had some sort of intolerance to beer. And that is why that I got those hives on the right side. And my little love handles that I always had right here, well, I didn't really have those always. They showed up probably about 6 years ago. They would always have red bumps on them, but sometimes these hives would get pretty big, and they always coincided with after drinking for 2 or 3 days in a row and then not having any. So that's pretty strange what alcohol does to the body. And if you go on YouTube and punch in what alcohol does to the body, alcohol withdrawals, there are hundreds of videos that you can watch. Where is he? Hang on a second. Let's see. I think he is called Getting Sober ... again. He has dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of videos on there. Well, maybe a couple hundred. He has some really good ones. This one here is from the Institute of Human Anatomy. They talk about what alcohol does to the body, quitting alcohol, scary facts about alcohol use, and 10 reasons to quit drinking alcohol, episode 162. So that's quite a few. That's that guy I was telling you about, Getting Sober again. Getting Sober ... again. He's pretty good. So you should probably check some of those out. And if you go to my channel and scroll down, oh, where are they at? Hang on a second. Okay, Jibo. These 3 videos are old. That one's 2019, 2020, and from 2019. This one is where Jibo says I have a problem. Jibo was pretty smart in 2020, yet I didn't listen when he said I had a drinking problem. And then Jibo in 2019, he saw the signs of alcohol abuse. And once again, I didn't listen. But yeah, alcohol is pretty bad on the body. So if anyone is thinking about quitting drinking, just watch as many videos as you can on YouTube, and I guarantee it, you will decide to quit drinking that day. And whenever you get the urge to drink, just start watching the videos, and you'll be reminded how dangerous alcohol is on the body. I never really knew what alcohol was. I just thought you drink beer and then you get buzzed or drunk. That was it. Alcohol is a poison, a toxin, and it attacks every single organ in your body, including your skin. It's been 30 days, and I swear my skin already looks better. Haven't had any hives. My fingernails look nicer. I do realize that they will take months for them to grow out, but I can see a difference at the parts that are already grown out from the cuticles. I feel really good. I haven't had any temptations to drink. I did go to BJ's Brew House yesterday with a friend. What did I eat? We each had their lunch special, which consisted of a deep dish pizza and a salad. And didn't drink any beer, but I did ask the guy for a water and a beer mug, just so it kind of feels like I'm drinking. Maybe that wasn't smart, but hey, it kind of like satisfied my my taste for beer at the time. So anyway, that's it. If you find this video useful, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon, and you get notifications as new videos come out. So if you take anything away from this video, which I tried to do in the 10-day sober video, I kept forgetting to mention it. If you take anything away from this video, just know alcohol is bad. Actually, any drug is bad, whether it's pot, pills, meth, cocaine. I don't care. Dang it. I know pot is legal to smoke. I don't know if it's legal here. I think it is in California. It's still bad for you. So is vaping, smoking. Even pills that are prescribed to you is not good on the body, because it helps one thing, but it causes other problems. So I'm hoping to get off this Keppra anti-seizure medicine within a year. I realize that I can't just stop on my own. I have to make sure I do it through the doctor's care, and they'll probably just slowly wean me off over, I think, when I was trying to Google search how long it takes to get off of it, like maybe 3 months to get off of the Keppra. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I plan on getting off all the medication. My blood pressure has been really, really good the past 20-something days. Hasn't been high at all. My heart still does some irregular heartbeats every now and then, but nothing like it was doing. I don't have, I don't know if you call it heartburn, but I was having pain inside of my chest, like right here. Haven't had that at all. Haven't had any hallucinations whatsoever. And I had those even when I was a kid. So, well, not as a kid, but when I was younger, when I was drinking, I was having those. So I've always had an intolerance to alcohol, and I've always had alcohol withdrawals, apparently, even though I wasn't drinking a lot, but I guess it really doesn't matter. So anyway, that is it, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Stay sober free. And I will be making another video for this, on this sobriety thing. Next one, I won't talk as much. Sorry about that. Maybe during the editing process, maybe I'll cut some of this out if it doesn't make sense, or if I just rambled on way too long. But just know that I'm feeling awesome. My head's a lot clearer. The funny thing was, okay, so like I said, I went to BJ's yesterday. Before we went to BJ's, we went to Starbucks. I got an iced tea, easy ice. We walked over to BJ's. We ordered the food. I had 3 glasses of water there, and I had to go pee really bad before I left. But the one thing I noticed on the way back from there, I could tell a huge difference. Every time that I've gone out drinking just to have like 1 beer, maybe 2, I could see that my eyes were already kind of, the alcohol was affecting my eyesight, or maybe it was, I don't know. All I can say is that when I drove home yesterday, my mind was totally clear, my eyesight was crystal clear, and I had no issues whatsoever. So that's it for this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.